What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder. This time, we're not going to take to the sky in anything, sadly enough. I know. New video is coming out soon, but I wanted to get this video out of the way. Now, coming from someone who has just passed 2,000 subscribers, and by the way, thank you guys for that. In fact, I think we just hit 2,011. So expect some way to celebrate that. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do that, but it should be something fairly big, because that's a fairly big milestone to me. But I wanted to have this discussion because my most viewed video ever, which I believe is around 130,000 views, and is one of the most watched, if not the most watched, how to grind in War Thunder videos ever published. Which is great, don't get me wrong, I love views, I love being watched, I love new subscribers, I love new people coming in. But here's the thing, it's not my finest work. It's hard to make your finest work on a video that you literally don't even play the game, you just sit in the menu. That's a little bit embarrassing to have my most literal viewed video ever. Not embarrassing, it's just a little sad to me having my most viewed video be one that I don't even really do anything but talk. Not only that, the stuff in that video isn't old or outdated or anything. But the thing is that it's not really as relevant as it is, or as it was, because that was, I believe, let's see, a year and a half ago, if not more, which means, yeah, in fact, I think it was almost 15, 16 months ago. Information's old by now. Many new patches have come. We've had 2 new countries since then. A lot more ground forces. And I kind of wanted to brush up over. Now, here's the thing right off the bat, right, is that War Thunder, at its essence, I'm going to get this out of the way, because the biggest complaint with the last video was that, you know, you're just saying pay to win and you'll grind faster, and I do apologize for that. But let's get this out of the way. That way that doesn't come back up in this video. War Thunder is a free-to-play game, and the company that makes it, Gaijin, is in the end a company, and a company's main idea and principle and goal in the end is to make money. Whether it's a good company, a bad company, a company that cares about its consumers, or a company that doesn't, in the end, that company's business or that company's goal is to make enough money to open the doors the next day. And when you have a game that you don't pay for, you have to expect some things to cost some money. As we all know, games that are just coming out that you pay $60 to win, like Battlefront 2, that had all of those crazy things and pay to win, and $3 or $4 items or $10 items, $20 boxes, and you're paying $60 on top of that and another $60 for DLC. Yeah, at that point it's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, I hate pay to win. I hate in-game purchases. I think they're dumb. I would much rather, for a game like War Thunder, pay $60 right off the bat and play it for however long. Sadly enough, it's also really not that type of game. Of course, you look back at most games you guys have probably played, $60. The last game you played or bought for $60 was probably I don't personally know. I think for me it was Destiny 2, and I played that game and I played it and I had fun. But then the fun kind of ended, and you kind of stopped playing that game. I've been playing War Thunder for almost 4 years. 4 years. It has kept me entertained longer than pretty much any other game, except for some like childhood classics that I still play every now and then. So really, you can't compare the two, because those big companies that make games like Destiny 2, they make a blockbuster hit. You pay $60 for it. You pay $120 for it. You play it for 6 months, and then the next one's, rumors start coming out, and then you buy that one. War Thunder is the same game it was 4 years ago. It may have new things, it may have various new items, new things to unlock, but in the end, it is the same basic concept and basic game that was available 4 years ago. So, I mean, what do you do, and how do you make money, and how do you keep developers working on your game when you're not selling new games? And I think the biggest thing for that is you have to put some in-game stuff to buy. Now, of course, you can go through this game and not spend a dime and grind every single plane and tank and every single upgrade item. It is fully possible. It will take you a while, yes, especially if you're a beginner, only getting a kill or so a game. Yeah, definitely. Don't get me wrong, guys. I started off 3.5 years ago. I got an assist, and only an assist, I think, for like 10 matches or so. And then I got a kill. And then I'll get another assist for another 9. And I played and I played and I played and I played and played. In fact, I think I pretty much spent my entire sophomore year on this game. And I'm now a freshman in college. And so, as you can see, that's a lot of commitment to put into a game. So right away, just so we can get this out of the way, the fastest way to play this game is to have a premium account or a premium plane or both. And there's never gonna be getting around that. I don't personally believe, and keep in mind, guys, Gaijin doesn't fund me or anything like that. I personally believe that it will never change, because in the end, that's how they're gonna make their money, and they have to make money to keep producing content to keep their servers up. In order for this to exist, we have to pay for something, or at least someone does. And so don't get me wrong, they don't force you to, but the fastest way definitely is to have a premium account. It's not super expensive. I think it equates to, at least where I am, last time I bought it was, I think it's probably $6 to $10 for a month, which is pricey, don't get me wrong, but like I said, it does double your RP, and it doubles your Lions earn. In fact, I think it more than doubles your Lions earn. So really, those things become a small item. It still takes grinding. It still takes a lot of work. If someone ever tells you that they bought a tier 4 premium plane and a premium account and grinded out all the planes in a couple of hours, that's probably not true. Even with a premium account and a premium plane, the average player will still take a very, very, very long time to grind these things out, because it's just a huge game and things aren't easy to unlock. So just keep that in mind. There's no way to just buy jets. You can't just instantly jump to jets. So really, everybody still has to grind. Now, some people grind less, some people grind more, but basically they have to keep their doors open. They're forced by some way to get money, and that most of the time comes from premium planes and premium accounts. So now that we got that over, we can kind of talk about other things. I hope that clarifies, though, what I meant in the last video a year and a half ago. If any of you guys have watched that, there is no other quicker way. And it personally, unless it was a $60 upfront game, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. Now, the only thing Gaijin does give me is they give me some golden eagles every couple of months, or in fact, I didn't even know. Last time when I hit 1,500 subscribers, they gave me 10,000 golden eagles, and that was the last time I was given golden eagles, and that was 600 subscribers ago or some, quite a long time ago. I've been really busy, but since then they haven't given me anything, and of course that goes right back into actually getting things for you guys, reviewing planes that you want to see, or helping me grind along the way. So just keep that in mind. But everything I'm saying here, I'm being very unbiased, unjudgmental. Keep in mind, I paid, and I think I bought premium account for like 2 years before this. So to me, it was worth it. I understand. Trust me, I'm in college. I understand, like, money's tight sometimes, but they still have to make their money. But now let's talk about why. Before we specifically talk about my best way to grind, personally, this is going to be different for everybody. This is going to sound super, super cliche, but the best way to grind through this game is going to be what you enjoy doing. if I came out here and say bombers were by far the best way to grind, without a doubt, nothing is ever going to beat them, and it's the fastest way ever. And you went and jumped on a bomber, and it took you 6 hours less, or let's say 5 hours less, to get to a jet than it did if you had done it your way. And you were like, wow, Orbital, you were right. You were right. That was definitely the fastest way. But you hated every single second of playing a video game. There's no reason to do what you're doing. Video games are meant to be fun. You're meant to enjoy them. It's a video game. It's a break from life. And if you're not having fun, there's no reason to be doing what you're doing. Now, bombers aren't the fastest way, so don't go and jump in bombers, unless it's what you enjoy. And in which case, have fun with your bombers all day long, man. Personally, I don't understand you, but hey, each to their own. So anyways, getting on with this, every single person is going to grind slightly differently. Personally, I have never been a bomber guy. I hate bombers. I don't hate bombers. I don't hate people who fly bombers. I hate flying them. I personally think they're boring. I hate dropping bombs. I'm not good at it. I hate the turrets, and I hate not having a chance against a fighter, except for turrets. That drives me up the wall. So therefore, I don't play bombers. But personally, what I've gathered through 3.5, 4 years, I don't even remember at this point, of playing, is that the fastest way to grind is, personally, and I say very personally, the fastest. That is an odd skin I have on there, but oh yeah, that was from my top 10s. That was from my top 5 skins video. That was a while ago. Anyways, getting back to the video, the best way to grind, in my personal opinion, is fighters. And there's two different things. You have your RP, and of course you have your lions. I will say this about bombers: if you're looking for lions, the fastest way I have found is actually bombers. You get a ridiculous amount of lions from bombing a ton of targets, maybe shooting down a plane, especially if your team wins that match. You'll be set. You'll be set for sure. Now, personally, I've never done it that way, because, like I said, I don't like bombers. But I have found that bombers are probably the best things to fly out if you're looking to grind some lions. Just go out there, drop some bombs on the target. Hopefully you get a plane kill, and hopefully your team wins. Now, that being said, you do get double RP if your team wins. So try to actually help out, strategically bomb points if you can. Try, of course, not to go down. That's always the goal. But if you help your team win, you're guaranteed double RP. So really, really, really try to do that. Remember, winning in team is far more important than bombing out 30 tanks. Although if you bomb out 30 tanks in a bomber, you're a god, and props to you. But winning is better than, killing 10 ground targets. It's much better to kill 6 or 7 ground targets and win the match than it is to kill 10 ground targets and lose the match. So just keep that in mind. Winning in team are very, very important things when grinding. Now, RP, here's personally what I have found. So when you're going through let's say, let's go to the American lineup, and they have released new planes. You guys can see, when I said I was not a bomber fan, I was not joking around. Now, my American bomber line is probably my worst bomber line that I haven't ground out, especially now that they've come and added all these planes since I ground out the American line. Ground out, I don't know. But when I did go and grind out the American line, a lot of these planes weren't here. So I need to get back in and actually go through it. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of American planes, a whole lot of them. And personally, I always found that the best way, let's for instance go to rank 2. Let's say you have all of rank 1 unlocked and you're going to rank 2. I've always found that the best way is to go and find a specific plane in rank 2 that you're really, really good at. For me, it was the P-38. The P-39s were okay. P-40 is a very lovable plane, but personally, I don't think it's that great. But, find a plane, for instance, for me it was the P-38, and grind the hell out of that plane. Use it to unlock pretty much everything in Tier 2. Now, theoretically speaking, let's see if it still shows. Okay, it's not gonna show. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe. Okay. No. Okay. Well, actually, hold on. Let me see real quick. Okay, yeah. So if you go here and you look at the efficient progress from F4U1A, 110%, and it's right below the takeoff run in the stat sheet. Theoretically, the fastest way is to grind out the F4U1A USMC with the previous F4U1. Here's the problem with that: is if you go and do that with every plane, you're going to unlock this plane way quicker than you're going to fully spade that F4U1 above it. However, don't get me wrong, you're going to get 110% bonus. You will get more RP and stuff. But here's the thing. If you go find a plane that you love, let's say the P-38. Personally, for me, the P-38 is a god tier plane. It's great. I love the way it maneuvers. It's quick. It has good guns. It's very, very enjoyable to fly. Because it's enjoyable, and you're gonna grind out all the upgrades on that plane. You're gonna be one of the fastest planes in the match in this case, but you're gonna have some advantage most of the time over the planes you're going against. You're gonna love flying the plane that you're flying. It's gonna have really, really great guns, and you're gonna go through and you're gonna spade, and you're gonna enjoy actually flying out every match. You're not gonna be grinding. Instead, you're going to jump in this P-38, and for me, I ground out the F4F, and the F4U1, and the F6F, and then I ground out these, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and sometimes I play arcade, sometimes I played realistic, but for me, the fastest way was always picking a certain plane in a tier that I liked, and then grinding them out. For instance, in rank 3, what did I fly on the rank 3? A lot of new planes have been added. Oh, it was the P-47. The P-47 is also a god tier level plane in my opinion. In fact, it's almost unbeatable. And if it's still at 3. Okay, it is at 4.0. For a while there, I think it was at 3.7. It was pretty much unbeatable. Nothing could touch it. 850 cals, you were ridiculously quick. You had a lot of advantages. For me, I really, really enjoyed that plane. And I ground out most of my tier 3 planes with that. Now, as you can see, they have added F4U4 and an F4U4B. I don't have those planes unlocked. I do need to go get them, but they weren't there when I was doing it. So now it would take a little bit more time, but you would get to fly more planes. Sadly enough, these planes weren't here when I was grinding them out. But yeah, like I said, you can grind out, for instance, efficient progress from F4U1C. I don't like the F4U1C. I think it's bulky, I think it's heavy, and I don't think the guns are worth it. Not to mention you have a huge BR increase. It personally, to me, it's not worth flying out the F4U1C just for 110% bonus. I would much rather fly out the P-47. So if you want the scientific answer is to fly out the plane before the plane you're unlocking and get those bonuses. The real true answer, or personal answer that I've always done, is find a plane that you like in that tier, grind out the rest of them. Now, don't try to grind out the F8F1B with the P-47. Instead, go to tier 4, find a plane you like, grind it out. F8F1B was an incredible plane for me. It's hard because of how high the BR is, but I did use it to grind out most of these planes. And now when we move into tier 5, it's a little bit more difficult. You can't really grind out, I mean you could, the F86 F2 Sabre with the P80. Personally, what I was doing is that because these planes take quite a bit longer to actually upgrade and or actually get, because they're 380,000 RP points, it was actually worth going up to the next plane. So for instance, once I hit tier 5 and I got the P80, and this was back in the days when the P80 and the F80 were in 2 different lineups, and the F86, there were 3 F86Fs to unlock. So this is actually easier than it used to be. Before, I would jump in the P80, and then I would unlock the F80, jump in the F80, jump in the F84, jump in the F86A, and then jump in the F86F25, I think. And that's how I would do it. Basically, once I hit tier 5, I almost always go up in order. So after I unlock the next jet, I jump in that. Because personally, to me, it's more fun. Most of the time, they are actually better. And most of the time, you have enough time to actually spade the plane before you hit the next plane. So That's how I always ground out my airlines. Now, Army, I'm not going to go into. I don't feel I'm qualified enough to talk about that. And I'm also just not as good. So I'm going to let other people who are way better, way better than me cover that. So that's about it for the actual scientific way to grind, or actual ranking. Basically, find a plan that you like in the rank. Use that to grind it out. It's going to be the most enjoyable, and then you'll be done eventually. At least that's personal for me. Like I said, the best scientific way to do it is to use the plane above it, or below it to grind out the next one. Personally, for me, that's never been a lot of fun. But now let's talk about real quick Air Realistic and Air Arcade. Once again, I'm not going to hop in a simulator. I'm not good enough personally, or you have to have a joystick basically to fly a sim. Most people are not going to play sim. I'm not going to jump into it. But here's the difference: Air Arcade or Air Realistic. That spinning is driving me insane. Personally, Air Realistic is the best way for me to grind, unless you're in Tier 1. If you're grinding out Tier 1, I only play Arcade because Air Realistic is too slow to fly out those terribly slow planes. It can be fun, but it's just not realistic for time. If basically, and I'm just going to go out and say this, the fastest way I've ground out Tier 1s, which are all the Tier 1 planes, jump in Air Arcade. And personally, you're going to have a lot more fun. It's basically just a chaotic turn fight in the middle of the map. I think it's a lot of fun. And you normally average, if you're decent or a beginner, anywhere from 1 to 10 kills. And you'll eventually get there, you'll get better, and then it'll also teach you things about the planes before you move into Realistic. Now, as soon as you hit Tier 2, I would personally just jump into Realistic. You get quite a bit more RP, you get more lions. It's definitely worth your time. It's much better to get 3 kills in Realistic, 4 kills in Realistic, than it is to get 9 or 10 in Arcade. Not to mention, I believe it's easier. So, I mean, that basically has explained how I have ground out the game. Now, I think, personally, at the end, like right now, I'm fairly good at grinding things out. These are the tips that I have used. Find a plan that you like, fly that one, grind out that tier, until you get to Tier 5, then jump into the plane that you're grinding, jump into the one before it, use it. Personally, that's what I've always done. It's always worked fairly well. And basically, I think the best way to grind is Air Realistic. Air Arcade is good for Tier 1, and the only reason I personally fly bombers is if I'm grinding out lions, in which case bombing a bunch of tanks gives you a ton, especially if they're medium or heavy, gives you a ton of lines, especially if you win the game. So yeah, if you're looking to grind RP, personally, I think the best way, jump in a plane you like, fly Realistic. If you're looking to grind lions, jump in an actual bomber, and personally, I go into Realistic. You do what you want, bomb some targets, and you're gonna do just fine, either way. And I know I've been rambling on for almost 25 minutes now. But that's just how I have always done it. It's not the right way to do it. It's how I have done it. And I think that's important to say. But this is not where this video ends. It's where the video is going to stop. But here's what I want you guys to do. If you guys have seen my last How to Grind video, which it has a sad amount of views for being as boring as I thought it was. But thank you guys for watching it. Let me know what you guys have done and what works for you, and if these tips have been helpful to you. So guys, until then, next video, I swear, will be some actual flying, some actually interesting combat. But until then, guys, fly safe, let me know how it goes, and I'll see you guys next time.